Could you tell Fusion World really likes his Nameku leaders? Because I certainly couldn't. Today we're going to be talking about the Black Starter deck Namek Goku. Now, we have had Planet Namek Goku in the past. We've actually had two different ones, this being our third. Not really a big fan, though it's going to be in a different color, which means that we're going to get, exclusive cards for this that you can't use with the other color, which is unfortunate for the most part, but this one is base form and flips into Super Saiyan Goku. For the most part, I'm just expecting them to rehash animations, so the animations are also going to be like whatever. At least I'm excited for Super Saiyan 3. Super Saiyan 3 is going to have unique animations, which is going to be nice. This is going to complement and be kind of a pseudo-polar opposite of Black Gogeta, and it's going to be based off the key mechanic. The core difference is that this Namek Goku's abilities work mostly off ki in this leader. However, Gogeta works with ki in your battle area, which includes your battle cards. So this Goku wants ki in leader, Gogeta wants ki in battle cards. So that's important to mention. Additionally, this card is going to be traded to Planet Namek, so there's going to be a lot of Planet Namek stuff that you're going to want to play on it, and Gogeta wants to play GT cards to activate its leader ability. Its Awaken condition works very similar to Gogeta. The only real caveat is that it has a life condition now. I don't, out of the top of my head, I don't remember if Gogeta, Black Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta had a life condition, but this one does. You can awaken it 4 or less, you're almost never going to reach that. Or if this card has 2 or more ki. So if your leader has 2 or more ki, you can flip. You also get an extra ki instead. Gogeta doesn't even get a ki on his leader, he just kind of doesn't draw or nothing. But this leader gets a ki, which can help. So you get 2 ki and then you flip. You don't get a draw, and then you flip. Very standard leader, you draw a card, and then you can active battle once per turn. Remove 1 or more of your ki, which means that it can include any type of amount of ki that you want to put. Also, I read the Q&A beforehand and realized that when it says your ki, I'm pretty sure I mentioned this in a previous video, but I was unsure if the Super Saiyan 4 GT Goku, when it mentioned your ki, what would that mean? But it does seem that your ki can be any ki in the battle area, and it includes leader or in battle area, so it includes literally any type of ki that you have. Anyways, moving on. For each ki removed by this skill, use 1 battle card with Planet Namek in its special traits from your drop in a combo. So this is going to include either 10Ks, 5Ks, or zeros. Those zeros you're not going to really see. But since it's Planet Namek traded, you can't tech in different cards like Oolong or Puar. Kind of unfortunate to see it work that way, but I mean, it does. We might get in the future a Planet Namek traded card that gets something from being comboed off from drop, but until we get that, this ability is just gonna be basically adding 10 or 5k. Not gonna be much else than that. But very good standard leader. This effect is very powerful. With just 2 ki, you can get 20k. Very nice. The alt arts are not going to change much because this is, again, a starter deck, so. Active main once per turn. This card in a battle area gets 1 ki. Then choose 1 battle card with Planet Namek and its special traits, other than this card, and it gets a ki. So you're essentially getting 2 ki for the price of 1, or I guess just with 1 card. This is going to help you activate your leader ability because, again, it activates from your cards in battle area as well. So you basically get 20k worth of combo power with just playing this 2 cost, which is pretty powerful. There's a very good run 4 of Krillin. You're probably going to want to buy the both. This is probably going to be a 2-up, so you're going to want to buy the deck twice because you want to have all 4 of these. This is a very powerful ability. When attacking and when KO'd, your leader gets +1 ki. Now, you know how I am with when KO'd conditions. They're very hard to proc, and if the opponent is good enough, they can just work around it. However, with this Krillin, since your leader doesn't have to be at a certain life to awaken, and it's just based off of ki, immediately the second you play this, you can swing with it instantly to get the ki. And then if your opponent swings into this battle card, then it's taking swings that were meant for you. Your leader is going to be at a higher life when he eventually awakens. And if they KO this card, then you get even more ki, which can help you awaken even faster. So it's a very good standard card. I'm a really big fan. Very reminiscent of the very good Pansy that came out about a year ago. This could even help you with Gogeta, because since Gogeta wants to get ki. Though, Gogeta doesn't really work much with leader ki, but I mean, if you need ki in your leader with Gogeta, this is your card to do it. We got this Guru, active main, switch this card in battle area to rest mode. Choose your leader with Planet Namek and its special traits, or up to 1 battle card with Planet Namek, and then it gets 1 ki. then that card is Earthling, and its special traits, it gets an additional key. This card is going to be amazing. It's going to be basically your instant on-curve play. Like, this is going to replace essentially your cantrip. You might say that switching a card to battle area to rest mode in a lot of other decks that want to awaken fast is bad. And that is true. However, since this deck can awaken without a life restriction, you can play this Guru, switch it to rest mode, gain a key. The key goes towards your awakening fund, for lack of a better word. So then you play this, you set it to rest mode. Then your opponent can either swing into your leader, which would be worse than swinging into this Guru, because then you draw a life, and then this Guru lives and then gives you another key on top of it all. Or your opponent can swing into the Guru, and then if they swing into the Guru, it dies, unless you defend it, which you probably aren't, let's be so for real. This Guru dies, and then it gave you a key, which can help to your awakening, and took a swing. So then next all you have to do is play a card that gives you key, and then you awaken. So it's taking swings for you while also giving you key. It seems that this deck is good, like the decks that are coming out that are based on key are going to focus less on managing what cards you have on rest mode, which is a very important skill to learn in this game. And you can just have most things rested since you want your opponent to swing into them anyway to give you more value. It kind of decreases the skill ceiling in this game, which is good and bad for different reasons. It's good because then new players can start playing this deck, and even if they swing with like a card. Normally you would want to keep cards active so your opponent can't swing into them so you can awaken faster, but since you don't care about your life to awaken, then that doesn't really become a problem for you. So you can just set cards to rest mode. Gonna be very nice for new players because new players are not gonna know that. But for older players, it does kind of remove the skill that it takes to keep cards active and manage that aspect of the game. But we got the Son Goku on play. If your leader has 3 or more keys, it's a 1 battle card, costs 2 or less, and KO it. This is one of your... I think it's your only removal, honestly. But it's removal. We got this Son Goku. This is a very cool gimmick card, actually. For each key you have in total, you use 1 battle card with 5k combo power or less from your drop in a combo. Now, this can be any battle card. Unfortunately, most of the battle cards that have effects that combo from drop are 10ks instead of 5s. Though, you can add the 2-cost Kid Goku that came out with Bulma. That one's a 5k. And it gives you a 10k on top of that. So just with that card alone and swinging once, you can get this up to a 30. Very, very good card to be able to combo out, honestly. But you can attack, and it doesn't use up your key, and it swings for very high. So very powerful effect. At the end of the turn, you place this card in the battle area to the owner's drop. Unfortunately, it doesn't care whether or not you swung with it. If you left it active, it just gets KO'd anyway. But it is still a 10k, so you can use its effect, and then when it gets sent to drop, you can use it in combos later with your Super Saiyan Namek Goku ability. We got this game-breaking card. Like, this card is crazy. It is a critical 45k for 7 cost. If you have a total of 3 or more key and you don't have a Son Goku with cost 7 in your battle area, reduce the cost of this card in your hand by 4. Now, this works very similarly to the secret rare Super Saiyan Goku that we got from set, I think, 5? The difference between that Namek Goku and this Namek Goku is that it's not a life restriction, it's a key restriction. And it's not a double strike, it is a critical instead. You know, if you needed even more, like, insane knowledge, this card is an SR, not a secret rare, which means it's more common. And it comes with a starter deck on top of that. So you can just get 4 copies for the price of the gems that it takes to buy the deck. So you can get an instant 4 copies of this, aside from the secret, which is very rare. And you can play it not at 2 life, which is going to be very powerful. Matter of fact, the second you're awakened, if you don't use your key from your leader, you can just play this instantly at 3 energy. Insane ridiculous ability. Insane ridiculous. You can't make this up. And since it swings for critical 45, your opponent takes it, they're down a card, or they have to combo out of a 45 swing. Best case scenario for the opponent, they address it instantly. You just play another one. You can't play multiple for the cheaper cost. But you can play multiple if they address the other one, because there won't be another one in the battle area. So this is just an amazing run 4 of. This is a great card. Even Gogeta might want to run this. Having a total of 3 or more key is unsure what that means. It doesn't specify here. It doesn't say your. Now, I did say before that your key means battle area key. But when it says 3 or more key, it doesn't say what the key has to be. But if it can be any type of key, then this card becomes even more amazing. You can run it in basically every black deck because, you know, you can just give a card 3 key and then you're fine to play this. Very insane card. Very crazy. Draw 1 cantrips on Gohan. Very nice to get unique traded cantrips, though not really much. The art also looks completely horrible. I don't know what they were thinking when they did this. It generally looks like 2 your left. See, this looks much better. When attacking, your leader gets 1 key, and then you place this card in a battle area to the owner's drop. You have a total of 4 or more key. Choose your Son Goku list in a battle area against double strike for the battle. Now, again, key without the your or whatever, it seems rather weird of what that means. However, if it means any key, then this is basically a free condition, and even if it doesn't mean your leader, since when you awaken with your leader, you get a key, and you need 2 key to start with, you get 3 key, then you swing with this card, and then it gets another key, you're already at 4 key. Now, this main target for the Son Goku ability is going to be the 45k critical. So not only will it be a 45k critical, if you play this Gohan, it'll also be a 45k critical double strike. We got a Dende. On play, choose one battle card other than the Vegeta with 1 or more key, and play Dynamic and its special traits in your battle area and switch it to active mode. Then you can't play Dende. This is a fantastic, amazing card. Even other decks want to play this, especially if they're going to run the Goku, because this does, in fact, by the way, restand the Goku. So you can pay the 2 energy that it costs to play this Dende, and then restand that Goku, so you can get 2 45k crit swings. Plus, with the other Gohan, you can get one of those swings can be a double strike, and since you don't have to rest this card or KO it to activate its ability, it also still becomes a 10k that you can combo out on defense or on offense. Very, very powerful card. Vanilla Nail. Now, normally I wouldn't be that excited for the Vanillas for 1-drops, but since this deck awakens early, and again, you don't have to be at a certain life to awaken, you might as well rush the opponent down with a couple of like cheap swings that your opponent would have to basically take to get their life down. And then when their life is low, you can start playing the Namek Goku that starts critting and costing a lot of cards to combo out of. So yeah, this card can actually be very effective despite it being a vanilla. The fact that they chose Nail is a little weird, but you'll see that it's supposed to synergize with another Piccolo. On play, leader gets 1 key, and then in 1 KO, draw a card. Very standard effect, not really that useful, but it's here. We got this Piccolo, this is the Piccolo I was talking about. If you have an alien battle area, reduce the cost of this card in your hand by 2. Then you can place an alien battle area to the owner's drop, then your leader and this card get 1 key and you draw a card. So, what you're supposed to do is you're supposed to play the Nail, swing with it, then play this card, Nail gets KO'd. Give your leader a key, give this card a key, draw a card, then swing for 25. Very, very powerful effect. The Nail is a vanilla, so unfortunately, again, like it's just going to be a 15k swing, which isn't that impressive, but this can help. That's not a bad card. We got this Bulma. This is going to be your standard searcher. Leader is Planet Namek. I don't know why they're leader locking cantrips, but okay. Look at 4 cards and reveal 1 Planet Namek and then add it to your hand. This includes a super combo, since the super combo is Planet Namek, so this can pick up a super. But this is I mean, quite literally going to pick up every card in your deck, so very good standard cantrip, not really anything to say here. And Bulma's also going to be your super combo. We got this Vegeta. Discard 1 card from your hand, leader gets 1 key, then look at 3 cards, reveal 1 Planet Namek, and add it to your hand. This is basically every card in your deck if you're playing the standard, like, black package. This is just going to be every single card you have. And then looking for said card, you're basically just scrying one with cards from your deck, right? And leader getting a key for 2 energy, very powerful. This card can help. I don't think you're going to be playing it, though, because you'd much rather play the Krillin. But this card can, do something. Like, it's not bad. You also got to remember that this discard and do the on-play effect is optional. So you can just choose to play essentially a vanilla Vegeta. I think we're going to be done soon. Yeah, we're already at the extras. Leader is 3 or more key. Reduce the cost of this card in your hand by 3. So you can play this for 1. And then active main, choose a battle card with cost 6 or less and then KO it. This is going to be borderline every card in the game, especially the evolution cards. So, and 3 or more key is like a nothing condition, and you don't have to minus your own key to, play this, so you can just have the 3 key and use this ability, and then not have to have a key restriction, so, that's just how it is. And KOing a 6 or less, like, evolutions are done. Evolution against this card is over. You can play, at 4 energy, you can play the 3 cost Son Goku, the 45k critical, and then play this, and then KO whatever evolution the opponent played. This is going to be very good, specifically against Blue UI Goku, who wants to evolve cards and make them very annoying to remove. Very nice, very nice, very good. We got a Kaioken times 20 extra, our last extra. For each key you have in total, notice you don't have to use any of your key. You can use it to have it. Your cards that's in a battle gets plus 5k power for the battle. So if you have 3 key, this just gets 15k, and then it doesn't care about how much key you have, and it doesn't actually reduce it. So this is just a very good standard card. As long as you're awakened and you don't use any of your key, you're just going to be doing the standard 15k that would buff other cards. So it's very nice. Very good. We also got the energy markers. This is the end. The energy markers are the end. And nothing new about the energy markers. We just got the effects. This actually looks like a really good art. I'm really liking that. Super Saiyan Namek Goku. Very nice. So yeah, that's the deck. Very short video. These, started actually going to be very short compared to the other things because not much to talk about, especially when you consider that most of them are just reprints of each other. These cards are very nice. In summary, or I guess to recap this entire deck, final thoughts. This deck is going to compete even with the big boys of today. Not only does this card get support and give support to Gogeta, which is going to be the best black deck in the game, being able to play this 45k is going to be very deadly, especially against cards are based on cost, especially when you consider a matchup against Blue. Blue is going to have a lot of trouble removing this. The best target for it is just going to be Absolute Lightning, but Absolute Lightning just removes it at cost with an extra, which, it's not worth it at all. Decks like Blue Goku are really going to struggle against this deck. But the main premise of this deck is obviously going to be the key mechanic. You're going to be able to add up to your key. Not use it much. There are cards that use your key, but you don't want to use it much because most of your abilities activate when you have the key, and they don't diminish your key, so there's not much of a point in getting it down. Of course, your leader effect activated, you have to reduce your key. But you can, number one, choose how much key you reduce, and number two, you can choose not to reduce your key, right? Like, that's just an option. Yeah, this is just going to be a very good standard leader. With all that said, if I would give it a rating, 8 or 9, I think I would say. What would be even this deck's weakness? I guess just not having the horses. Weakness is going to be definitely removal, because you have the 2 cost remover for 3, and then you also have this legendary warrior, which is great for removing high bodies, but in terms of multiple low cost bodies, like if the board is wide instead of long, you're gonna really feel it. So I guess the counter to this deck would just be to play multiple annoying bodies that swing multiple times. But aside from that, this deck is amazing. This deck goes kind of crazy. Though I think Super Saiyan 3 Angel Goku will still have better power in terms of being able to KO faster. This is more of like a slow burn with this Son Goku. But for the most part, yes, this deck can get up there in terms of power. But yeah, this is a very good standard deck, 8 out of 9. Very nice, very nice. And that is it for all the new decks that we're getting. So yeah, that's about it. Nice.